And Angela is another one of my superwoman slash business friends who I absolutely adore because she's just out here doing kick ass things for women, right? So I had to bring her on and introduce her to you all so she can share. We got a baggage and BS, and she had to get beyond to, be who she is and do what she's doing and help so many. So, hi, Angela.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome. So, first of all, I'm super excited that you're here. That's number one. Like I made me a list of dope ass women that I wanted to come and do interviews with me because of our personal interaction, not so much because of our relationship, but because of our personal interaction with each other. It's just like I'm so impressed. Like there was this one lady that I had on from the Netherlands, and I met her. And I was so impressed with her. I didn't even know her, but you just kind of know good people, right? Especially when you're in tune with goodness, like you know good people. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to do an interview with you, right? So tell us, who do you want the world to know Angela as? Who are you?
Oh my.
It's
That's a
loaded,
big
right?
question
I
because
know.
right out the gate, I should know better. I should know that with you. You're not going to ease me in. You're going to just dump me in the water.
Ooh.
Um, I have so many hats. As women, we just wear so many hats. But I think at the end of the day, I want people to think of me as someone who they feel like they can be themselves and they don't have to, there's no expectation. My only expectation, no matter how we're connected, whether it's friendship or business or anything, is that you are being true to who you are and never worry about what I may be thinking or even care if I agree with you. Just that I love you how you are and who you are. And I want for you to be able to be you everywhere you are.
That is exactly who you are, Angela. That is why I love you so much. It's just kind of like you're my yang, right? Because I'm rough and tough, right? Like I'm pretty aggressive and very, like you said, just dunk you in. I'm very to the point, very forward, all those kind of things or whatever. And that's like because how my makeup is, I'm a fighter, right? But I feel like for me personally, I'm a warrior because I be in fight mode. Like the devil messing with you. Like, like, wait a minute, what? They coming to do what? Like, come on, listen, and I'm just ready. I'm activated, right? But you're more like, okay, so let's talk about that. Okay, I know you're gonna win, but let's talk about, how you feeling, and I'm not the how you feeling type. I'm just like, what? Oh, let's get it. Like, and I love that about you, Angela. Oh my gosh, I love that so much about you. But that's what balances me, like my relationships, my friends. So now that you told us who you are, let's talk about the baggage and BS that you've had to overcome, that you've had to leave behind, get beyond. Let's talk about one of your stories.
Mm. Well, I have a recurring theme that I'm overcoming. I'm overcoming. Um, I grew up as soon as I got to hit the boy crazy phase. I adopted this mentality, and I don't know where I got it from. That if I could just mold myself into what other people wanted out of me, then everyone would like me and I would have whatever boyfriend's total affection and attention that I could get. And so I started probably 15, I would say, of just shaping and molding into what other people, what I thought, no one even asked me to be this way. I did it to myself.
Right,
But I
right.
thought they wanted me so that I could have friends or get invited to parties, or because I don't like to not be included. I do not like the feeling of seeing other people have connection and relationships and I'm on the outside looking in. So
Mhm.
I've always been really aware of that. And so I started changing myself to be able to be included in things. And I always was on the lookout of people who were kind of on the outskirts and trying to bring them in, because I know what that feels like. And so, but one of the negative things I did in that process was completely losing myself. So not until I hit probably my probably 30, till I hit 30, did I finally stop and ask myself, like, well, who am I? Like, who am
Right,
I? Because
right.
I don't know who I am, because since 15 I've been who I thought everyone needed me to be, and I never asked myself who I was or what I wanted. And so at 30 years old is when I finally woke up and thought, well, what does Angela want, and who is Angela?
We're still learning each other. We're getting to know each other. And that is something we so have in common. But it didn't happen for me until I was in my 30s when I started. Because growing up, they called me Ray Ray, right? Because my Ray, right?
Mhm.
And what I was feeling like is like nobody likes Ray Ray. Everybody's always got something negative to say about Ray Ray, and besides my own experiences, like I was crazy as Ray Ray, like I was abused as Ray Ray. I was a whole bunch of negative things as Ray Ray. And so I said, okay, I've got to become Ray Jenkins. Ray Jenkins is more diplomatic. Ray Jenkins is more professional. Ray Jenkins is more patient and kind. She's more loving, right? And so I just like totally canned Ray Ray, like just abandoned her. But when I was in the sunken place, Angela, it was Ray Ray that helped me get through that. It was because Ray Ray is the fighter. And so I call it like my midlife crisis because I went through those same things. Like I had a couple of major losses. My dad had passed and Ray was graduating from college, which also meant she was transitioning into adulthood. So here it was, my whole life was around my daughter and my dad. And so it was just kind of like, and everything that I was doing was for others. So it was just kind of like, well, who am I? Like, what do I like? What do I want? So I went through the same exact thing, and now voila, here I am. So, oh my gosh, now I know why I love you so much. But continue to tell your story. I'm loving it.
Awesome. I love that. And that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me because women that I naturally connect with, we share that and we don't always know what it is, but there's like an unspoken connection, and that's
Mhm.
usually what it is. So I found that I had started a selling direct selling cosmetics, and I was sitting in a training one day when it hit me, because that's when I learned about DISC. Like you can see the things behind me.
Mhm.
I learned about DISC. And I was on a personal development with this company, as big in as many of them are into personal development. So I was learning leadership skills, and then I went through this DISC class, and I took this assessment, and it came back and it started telling me, you know, certain characteristics that I was born with, and it something clicked, and I went like, I remember sitting there thinking, wow, like all the things that I thought were bad about me, all the things that I thought I had to bury because nobody would like them, or they would think I was flaky, or I'm just not reliable, it are all the things that make me me.
So awesome, right? But go ahead.
Now that I know that, but then I thought, well, so wait a minute, and I'm Christian, so I'm thinking if God made me with these things, like it wasn't an accident. He didn't just be like, oh gosh, I didn't mean to do that, Angela. Right? Don't be that way. Just disregard how I created you. I had this realization of like reading this paper and thinking, so wait a minute, you mean to tell me that I was actually intentionally designed this way? That's why I'm this way. That's why all the crazy kooky things that I think people shouldn't like about me, I keep like those hidden in the closet, and I put on happy sunshiny Angela everywhere I go. And um but that's not really what I'm supposed to be doing. Well, what would happen if I let Angela out of the closet and was me everywhere? Like what would
Yes,
happen? And that was a journey. That wasn't overnight. That was a journey
sure,
of like
sure.
showing little bits, of Angela. And some of it was putting on a new name. Well, I used to be called Angie as a kid. And so once I started into leadership, I started going by Angela, and I cut all my hair off. What is it about us and our hair? Like, I don't like, and anyway, we could have a whole conversation about why we change our hair. But I cut my hair off really short, and I've always had long hair. I cut my hair off really short. I'm actually blonde. I dyed it red, and I've never gone back. I love red hair. So I cut it off short and I dyed it red, and I started going by Angela. So I kind of completely was stepping into or putting on this character of who I was, trying to let people know visibly, like, I'm a new person. Like, this is a new person in front of you. Don't treat me like you treated her, because I'm new and I'm different. And people started responding to that. And
Right.
all of a sudden, I went from someone who should just sit there and look pretty, honey. It's okay. We don't really need to hear your opinion. You just sit here and look pretty because that's what you're for, which drove me nuts my whole life, to someone who they started listening to, and my opinion started mattering. And the only real difference was I was embracing all the things that I used to think were bad about me,
Mm-hmm.
and being more confident in stepping out little by little in those things. And once I started doing that, people started asking me, what's different about you? It's more than the hair. What is
Right.
it? Something's different. Usually I just sat in the corner and I was like the sidekick. I was never the superwoman. I was the sidekick who like
Right.
carried people's bags and made sure everyone had what they needed. And all of a sudden people were coming and wanting to sit at my table and hear about what I had to say and tell me, oh my gosh, that makes total sense. And so over the years, I just would learn and apply and share. And through that grew into, well, maybe I should do this full time
Right. Right.
because
Right.
I really enjoy this. I wonder if someone paid me for this.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's so I love it. I love the transparency that we have here. Like I love it because that is so real and I resonated with that like every step of the way because of like for me in me becoming Ray Jenkins, right? She was also a part of me. She was my personal development, right? Because some people know this, some people don't, but I grew up in the hood, come from 4 generations of welfare, single parenting, broken and abusive relationships or whatever. So those types of things were my norm. So I definitely had to personally develop, right? But it was just kind of like the characteristics of Ray, like they were very, very much a part of me. And I found that the people who were attacking those characteristics were the very people who wanted to draw from those characteristics. And it only when it served them, though, right? And
Yeah.
so it was just kind of like I too, just got to this place where, I'm a Christian too, but I got a potty mouth. And so I just got to a place where I was just like, F them people. F them people. Like, listen, if you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. And either way, I'm okay with it. I really am. And that's not being off-putting. It's not being defensive. It's being honest. Like my level of I don't give a F is offensive to some people. It really is, but it's just kind of like I'm a head person. Like, I'm so I can mentally disconnect from things or whatever and detach and those kind of things. Because of that ability to detach, I'll just be like, logic. I deal with a lot of logic. So it was just kind of like logically, you don't like me. Why are you around me? Like, go away. Like, so it's just very logical to me. So it's not that I'm, insensitive or because as you know, I'm very friendly. I'm very friendly. I'm very caring. I'm very kind. Some people don't really get that from me, from my persona, I guess. I don't know. But hey, so anyway, I love it, Angela. So let's talk about what makes you a superwoman.
I think my superpower, well, I used to think being a superwoman meant you had to do everything, but now I realize it actually means to just do what your superpower is and stick to that. And having amazing friends helps, because then when something comes to you or an opportunity is presented to you that is not in your wheelhouse, is not going to benefit others if you do it right, it's not something that only you can do and you're the best person for the job, you can send it off and let one of your girlfriends or guy friends
Right.
do that. So it's really helped me to not only stay in my focus, but also to support all the women in my circles, which I love. And then everybody wins because we all get to do what we're great at and what we're meant to do.
Right. And that's the thing. Like relationships are about creating wins across the board. Sometimes people don't do their part, right? But I'm just talking about like when everybody as a collective comes together, they have their part to play and they do their part. And everybody's blessed. Everybody wins. Everybody walks away with a smile on their face. That lets me know God was in it. And I love that. And I love what you're doing in your community. So let's shift into that. And let's talk about your business. Tell us like what's going on in your business and your
Oh,
village.
yes. Oh my goodness. We are constantly pivoting. Pivot is not a temporary thing with us. We are in constant pivot mode. God is definitely moving through everything that we're doing. And I just literally, I always tell people, I'm just holding the keys. I was assigned to hold the keys. I have no idea where this is going. We're just going to go along for the ride and it's going to be amazing. Right now, we started out as a coffee shop, just a Facebook group, because I was a homeschool mom who needed some girlfriends. And so I started a Facebook group hoping for 10 women to hang out with. And within the first day, we brought in, I think, 50 women. And that was 4 years ago. We just celebrated our fourth birthday. But when COVID hit and no one could get out of their homes, a lot of women were looking for social outlets or to learn how to do all the things they were doing in person, how to do them online. And we had been doing it already for 3 years. So my phone started ringing and women saying, "Are you still doing that coffee thing?" And I'm like, yeah. They're like, "Can I come in?" Sure, absolutely. So they came in and I thought, well, none of us can go to the coffee house. And I was really missing hanging out in the coffee house. And so we started playing with, because I'm very big into like, well, what would happen? What would happen, right? Like, what's the worst that would happen? And so I just kind of threw out there, like, what would happen if I actually owned a coffee shop? So if I owned a coffee shop, these are the things that would happen in my coffee shop.
Right.
How can we make that happen online? What would that work? Would people buy in? Do people already think I'm strange? So I'm fine. I'm over that now. I don't care anymore. Right? I am me. Take me or leave me. And people still look at me like I have two heads, and that's fine. But so we started playing this and people started coming in. And honestly, we have a coffee bar post and people come in and say, I'd like a double cappuccino and blah, 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 whatever. And we would pretend that we were having this online coffee house thing. People would have a seat at the table, and others would come and sit with them and have conversations. We have events, we have open mic, anything you can do in a coffee house in person. We figured out how to do it virtually. And
Right.
so many people were having so much fun that pretty soon women that hung out in the coffee shop were like, well, I have a business too, and well, can I like build next door to get the coffee house? Like, is that possible? What would that look like? And so we have like all these women who were friends in this coffee house group who decided, well, I want to have a location too. And
Right.
so it started as like a funny, like, oh yeah, I'm going to go next door. And there's like a nightclub next door. And across the street, there's like a place, a radio station across the street for podcasting. And over here, there's a convention center and just like little things. And we just started naming the buildings. And inside the buildings were people's businesses, online
Right.
businesses. And
Right.
then someone's like, do you have a map? We need a map. And I'm like, a map?
Just like when you go to the mall, they have the directory to tell you.
You need like a direct, you are here. Yeah. And so I'm like, I guess I could put together a map. Okay. So then I created a website. And so now you can tour the village and click all the buttons and go in. And so we have neighborhoods. We have a city council. I'm the mayor.
The
I am now the
mayor.
mayor. I was dubbed the mayor. And so how does a city run and what does that look like? And well, I guess we should have a chamber of commerce. So then we can have mixers, and that's networking, right? And marketing for the businesses, but we need someone to run the city. So we need a city government of some kind. And so we're like literally building this out like a real life
I love it.
place. And it's all online. And what's funny is most of us have never met in person. We've never shared the same space, breathed the same air ever. But it feels like we all live in the same town. It is so cool.
It's so cool, especially like where the imagination can take you, right? I love it. Again, one of the things that I absolutely love about you, like, because this also speaks to, women in business and in the marketplace, that there's a niche for everything, But besides the village, you also help people who want to be speakers, who are aspiring to be speakers. Tell us about that.
So I took a class because I thought I'm always looking for ways to market. At the time, it was just women in the coffee house. And so I thought, well, I'm a speaker, and I've always had a dream of traveling and speaking and doing women's conferences, but with friends of mine. Like I thought, how fun would that be to travel with a group of women who were my girlfriends, and we could just have fun and tour and do a road show and get paid. It would be awesome. And so, but every time I wanted to do something, everyone's like, oh, I'm going to need some time to get ready. What are you going to be talking about? And I'm like, it doesn't matter. We're just going to go. I just need to know if you're ready on this day. We're just going to go. And no one was ready. And I didn't understand that because I'm like, oh, I know you probably get that too, because you're probably like, I am ready. Let's go. How long am I talking? Who am I talking to? Right. And that's how we are. But not everyone is like us. Not everyone is ready, especially when speaking. They get very like, I don't want to say the wrong thing, and I need to be prepared, and it needs to be perfect. And so a lot of women, probably men too, but a lot of women struggle with this. And so I was like, okay. So I started offering classes, which I thought was going to be like a one-time quick thing. I did a project. I thought 10 women come in, record your talk for like 20 minutes, signature talk, and we'll put together an anthology and we can all use it for marketing. Really simple, I thought. No, because everyone freaked out. And they're like, I don't know what to say. What do you want me to talk about? I'm like, anything you want. It's your talk. It's about you. Well, what about me though? And so what's she talking about? It doesn't matter because it's about you. Don't worry about what she's talking about. And so I had to create classes about how do I talk about what I'm passionate about. That was our first class. And then people said, well, that's great. But what if someone says, hey, I want you to speak at this event, and they give you a topic? Now I got to write a new speech. And I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You're still you. You're right. Just on a different stage, and you just say, okay, what filter am I going to use to talk about me? Oh, we're talking, this is a leadership conference. Awesome. I'm going to talk about how I lead. That's all you do. But there needed to be a class. So pretty soon these classes started adding up, and we realized that we were creating a brand of speaker that could not only produce a really amazing talk that would be well received by an audience and be very entertaining and educational and motivational and whatever else, all the check boxes, right? And we're now training them to incorporate personalities into that so that when they speak, only the women or men or whoever they're wanting to work with hears their message and connects with it and says, oh my gosh, that's the person. You get me. You're me. Oh my gosh, I need to work with you. And so we have a guild now. So it's called the Signature Speakers Guild. And we train women how to discover, develop, and deliver their signature talk. And so I actually have I have 2 business partners now, because I train on, putting your talk together and not falling in love with your outline, because you are you and you just need to kind of have a bag of tricks that you pull from. Right. So it's always fresh for you and the audience and always connects with the right people. But then beyond that, we have a mastermind to develop skills based on different stages, because we have different stages now. It's not just I walk out in front of an audience all the time. Sometimes you're on podcasts, interviews, lives, Clubhouse now, right? Mm-hmm. And all these different platforms take a different style of delivery. And so we train in that, how to take the same information. You're not rewriting your script all the time. Same information delivered in different ways, sliced and diced to meet the expectation. And then the third person, she takes you through collecting all your media kit and getting in front of the right people so you can get on the stages and what stages you want to be on, where your audience is. So it's a whole platform. And then back to my original concept, I am also grooming amazing women that will be ready at a moment's notice to travel when I want to travel and go speaking.
I love it. I love what you're doing. And clearly that's why you're here, because I want people to know about what you're doing. And I think that's so dope. And a lot of like your story, once again, resonates with me, because like the Superwoman thing started out, I was talking about money mindset, more than, because again, coming from 4 generations of welfare and living in the hood or whatever, like that's a conditioning, that's a mindset, it's a mental state, right? And so, I had to come through different levels to get to a space, a financial space mentally, right? And so I started out with that. But my business coach kept saying to me, Ray, you're so much more to women than money. Like, you're so much more than that. And I'd be like, okay, well, I mean, it's a holistic approach. So, we're dealing with her man issues, her money issues, her mini me issues, that type of thing or whatever. And she's like, yeah, okay. She was just like, I'm going to need for you to do better, right? Like, don't want to, but and so while I was on the incline with that, that's when my dad passed. And then on and then went straight into a decline because no longer did I even have an interest in talking to people. Like I didn't want to be bothered. Like I didn't want to help other people. I was angry with everybody. I was angry with God. Like it was just kind of like, no, like I know, like, and so, it started out in a dark space, a dark place, and then it went into the sunken place, right? And so emerging from the sunken place was, let me say, while I was in the sunken place, because I still had a heart for these women, even though I didn't want to personally interact with them, it was important to me that I said something to the Superwoman every day, right? And that's kind of like where what I'm doing now stems from, because I would put a some one of my quotes from out of my head that was like challenging her, like, like Superwoman, be your stepping stone, not a doormat, like, things like that or whatever, just like putting those things out there to help her be strengthened for that day, like, to go and take on that fight for the day. And then I was sharing with Haley how me still wanting to be in hiding and not wanting to be out here coming outside to play with people. I just wanted to stay in that space, but it was a couple of things that was letting me know that was going on around me that was letting me know, like, okay, that's not enough anymore. Like, you got to do more. You got to give more. And then Haley challenged me to come out of hiding, so that when she was doing the online within the Win group, right? And so, at first my thoughts were like, okay, well, I'm just gonna purchase, I'm gonna get this package, I'm gonna pay her every month or whatever, just to support her, because I'm really not interested in doing this. I really don't want to do this. But the thing about me is my word is everything. Like if I give you my word and I tell you that I want to do something, I have to honor that. And I think a big part of it is because I don't like to hear people's mouths. Like it was just kind of like, well, you said like, mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. And so as I was showing up to do these videos, I was coming out a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And it was just kind of like, I was like, Haley set me up.
He's good at that. Yeah.
Like, she set me up. It's like, I wasn't trying to be out here. I wasn't trying to come out here. And so, voila, I was out here. And so that made, that kept my wheels turning. And so it grew to a space for me where I wanted to start the Superwoman Transformation Academy, right? And I wanted to do that because, again, coming from um, low to no income and being a single mother, I know what it's like when you need someone that you can trust and who understands, but who they understand, but they're still going to challenge you. They're still going to like push you and be like, okay, like how when you fall down when you learn how to ride a bike and they like, get up, get back on the bike and pedal. Like, I mean, I know you're hurting, but pedal because you can do this. And so it was just kind of like, I felt like I wanted to put something together that was so affordable for women to be able to get it all, be able to interact with me and get what I would be pouring out to women who were paying me top dollar at a very, very affordable price, like, at the price point. And so that's when I was just, and then I had to struggle with that because I was just like, yeah, that's another commitment to people, which means I gotta come outside and play with people a little bit more. And I was like, or whatever. But I really felt that conviction along with the passion that like this is the thing to do, because there are so many women who need the insight that you offer, the wisdom that you share, that push that you give them, that support that you offer. And I have to remind myself of that because even still today, I'll be like, God, I don't want to go outside and play with the people. Like, I'm okay. Like, I'm okay in here. Like, and then, but it's just kind of like when you just gotta do it, right? And so I completely get how it all just gravitates. And I don't know who it was who set you up, but I know Haley Gray, you set me up, Haley Gray. But I appreciate you for it. And I'm sure that super women from around the world are going to appreciate it as well. So we're gonna wrap up, but I wanted to ask you, Angela, in wrapping up, what is it that you would share with the next superwoman? What would you share with her to inspire her and encourage her?
I would say, no matter what you think or feel, or what others may be telling you, that you were made for a purpose on purpose.
Yeah.
And you already have everything that you need to be a success in being you.
Hmm. That was so simple but profound. Where can all these people who want to know more about you and what you're doing, where can they find you on social media?
So
Online, really.
you can, the best way to find me is to actually tour our virtual village at biscottipark.com.
Okay, nice. And then we'll be able to find all of your footprint on social media from there.
Pretty
Awesome.
much, yes.
Awesome. Well, y'all definitely want to go and check out what Angela is doing in her village, what she's doing with the Speakers Guild, because she's doing some amazing things. As y'all could see, like her imagination is so awesome. And just my experience, as y'all can see, my face and my energy is just like I get so excited about Angela. But listen, I think you would get excited about her too. So you definitely want to check her out. Angela, thank you so much, doll. This was
Thank
great.
you. It's always fun hanging out with you.
Ditto, kiddo. All right, so Superwoman, next Wednesday, 7 p.m., we'll have another Superwoman from somewhere around the world coming to inspire you, encourage you, enlighten you, educate you, just, so that and you feel, so that you know that you're supported, so that you feel that you're supported. And we will see you next Wednesday. Bye, dolls.